Krav Maga, Krav Maga, Krav Maga, Krav Maga, Krav Maga.
Hey West Coasters, what's up? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the R's of martial arts. I'm not gone all Big Bird and Sesame Street on you guys. That's a joke for you guys. I've seen my yellow hoodie. But I want to talk about R's. It's one of my favourite words in martial arts because we've got range, we've got retraction, we've got rotation, repetitions. There's all sorts of great words beginning with R. And I think range is definitely one of my favourites to talk about. I think it's because there's just so much variety, and when you look at different martial arts, the way that they interpret range differently and come up with solutions is absolutely amazing. And when you look at range as well, it's such a problem that we have to deal with when we're tied into one style of martial art. This is why it's worth discussing it, just to make sure that we've got some exposure to different ranges, to make sure that we're covering those off as well. So when I look at it, it's not a perfect description, and I say it's not perfect because quite often there's a lot of what-if scenarios, or they overlap at all. But we can look at it as what I call the missile or the projectile range. Then we've got handheld weapons, punching and kicking. I'm going to combine those into one range itself. Then we've got clinching, and then I suppose we've got going to the ground as well. And again, I say it's not a perfect definition, but we'll look at the longest range, which is missile range. It's what it sounds like. It's things that you can throw projectiles. So if you go back to the oldie worldy days, I suppose we've got bow and arrow, where today's we've got more modern weapons like guns. But in between, we talk about common objects, things that are hands off me. I've got a mouse that I can throw, but we've usually got from coins, plates, glasses, all sorts of things that we could have thrown at us, or we could use to throw at people if we need to defend ourselves and escape as well. Now, getting a little bit closer, we've got handheld weapons. I suppose the first one that always comes to mind for me is a baseball bat, but it doesn't have to be a baseball bat. Chairs are quite commonly used as a handheld weapon as well, but they're very problematic because they extend the range of the attack, so you can hit somebody from further away, which allows you to get momentum. You can be hit stronger as well. So, and also it's harder to counter because of the range. It can make it difficult for you to get close enough to then equally cause some sort of destruction technique on the person trying to attack you as well. Now, getting a little bit closer, we've got our punches and our kicks, all this great stuff. And for me, it kind of overlaps a little bit, and especially when you've got an athlete, and I'm going to say an athlete, so somebody very close, you might find that they're able to still kick, and somebody from quite far away, we've heard of the Superman, or I suppose Superwoman punch, you're able to punch from a distance you wouldn't typically associate with that. So it kind of blurs, or it has blurred a little bit for me these days. So I kind of combine the two. Now, clinching's a really interesting range. You see boxers do this all the time, but probably when you go back before things like boxing were televised, there's probably lots more little slips and trips and throws that came into it as well. And within clinching, it really is quite a science, because there's nothing to say when you're clinching, when you're pulling, you're holding, you're shoving, you can't still strike. And the final range is the ground. And probably in fights, there's a theory that most fights end on the ground. But definitely, if you've got two people of equal skill and they're slugging it out for a prolonged amount of time, it'll probably will result into a clinch or to a ground-based scenario as well. So I look at those. We'll just look at them again. We've got the missile range. We've got handheld weapons. We've got what I consider punching and kicking. I've kind of combined those together. We've got clinching and we've got ground. And why I say it's not perfect, it's because they can quite easily cross over. So when you're at clinching range, when you're holding onto somebody, it's possible to use a handheld weapon to be stabbing whilst you're holding quite close in. Or you see this happen very often, boxers when they clinch, they're striking as well. So again, it's not a perfect definition, but it gives you a good understanding that there's a range, there's a factor of distance when it comes to defending yourself and to martial arts as well. And really, all my takeaway on this is you need exposure to all of the different ranges. Like me, I definitely favour one particular range, but at least if you're getting exposure to the other ranges, you'll be able to do enough to protect yourself, to solve the problem that you need to do, to solve the mission, to walk away safely. Okay, just something to think about, guys. I'll catch you later. Bye for now.
Krav Maga, Krav Maga, Krav Maga, Krav Maga, Krav Maga.